fact, it really wasn't. So we've seen a tremendous increase in service in these enhanced services. I think, I know from your offices, there was a period of time where we were communicating many times throughout the day on trash collection complaints, and I'm happy to say trash collection complaints are something that I rarely hear from you all about, which is a testament to the great work that our contractors have been providing. But with that transformation and an enhanced service level and improvement, we saw a right-sizing of the costs associated with those contracts and a pretty significant increase starting in 2022 and wrapping up in 2024. So right now, the current costs associated with the collection of solid waste and recycling, as well as the disposal, is around $62 million. We, last year in 2025, via the sanitation fee, we only brought in $38 million. That's what we generated via that fee. So a very significant deficit of $24 million exists there. The city bridges that gap by providing funding via the general fund to make the sanitation department whole so we can provide those services as well as other services. But by doing that, we're taking those monies from other critical things that the city could be allocating that for. And I know you all have a long list of things that you'd like to see us get to when the city gets on better financial footing. So what the city now is seeking to do is to cover the cost of service with the fee that's provided. So when we look at our neighboring parishes, Jefferson Parish, East Baton Rouge, Lafayette, all of them, all parishes in Louisiana for the most part have what we view as a pass-through. They charge the fee that covers the cost of service. Each year as that cost of service increases based on CPI or the number of household service, that fee changes as well, and that's an annual thing. So again, our fee hasn't changed in 14 years. When we look at the costs that our neighboring parishes are paying, we have a very good and value case for the rates that we're paying. So on average, we're currently paying around $26 per unit for that weekly solid waste and recycling collection. When we look at neighboring Jefferson Parish, they're paying $26.63 for 2 collections a week. Now their 2 collections are for 2 solid waste collections. Ours is for 1 solid waste and 1 recycling collection, but still 2. In Baton Rouge, they're paying over $35 per week for twice a week trash collection as well as recycling collection. In Lafayette, they're paying almost $33. In almost all of those parishes, if residents are seeking to get a second trash cart, they either have to outright pay for that trash cart, which may cost them $80 to $90, or they're paying a monthly rental fee of $7 for that cart. In New Orleans, and I want to stress this, every household in this city is eligible for a second trash cart to assist with containment, to assist with the volume of debris that they may have. Since we started offering that second trash cart in 2022, only 2% of service locations have requested a second trash cart from the city. So we know that there probably are many households that probably don't even know that free second trash cart is available to them. Of course, as well, the city's opt-in curbside recycling program is available to all 165,000 service locations as well. And we know that right now only 42% of residents have opted into that recycling program. So there's many households as well that could be requesting a recycling cart at no cost. So again, each household in the city could have 2 95-gallon trash carts as well as 1 65-gallon recycling cart to contain all of the debris that you'd be generating on a weekly basis. But to get back to your question at hand, yes, we are running a structural deficit. We've been doing it for a long time. It grows every year as we adjust these contracts for CPI, which is important to make sure that they remain healthy for the 7-year term that we have them. And I think, as the mayor mentioned in recent comments, if we don't seek to bridge the gap and balance this deficit, that we will eat into other services very shortly and next year as well.
Thank you, Matt. The last thing I'll say, I've been saying this to everyone who will listen to me, I'll now say it to you. The one place where I think we've unfortunately missed the mark as a city is by explaining to our residents in very layman's terms, going to the people, explaining this is what you're paying and this is the actual cost. And when we have a $24 million deficit or an $18 million deficit or a $30 million deficit, and those dollars are taken from the general fund, that's $24 million less for parks and recreations. That's $24 million less for youth and families and seniors. That's $24 million less to fill potholes, to repair streetlights. The list can go on and on and on and on and on. I think we have got to hit the road. We have got to go to the people. We have got to pull out the whiteboards. We have got to explain the true cost of sanitation and the consequences and the reality that we find ourselves in at this time. Councilmember Green is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Mr. Torrey, I also would like to thank you for the work that you do and the members of your team do. You get a call from our office, an email from our office every day because it's spread out, because we have interstates that run through the district and people can dump under them at night. We have areas such as off Peoples Avenue where there's nothing between Peoples and a railroad track, so it's easy for the criminals to dump without being seen. But I have a question about illegal dumping, but I want to also ask you to talk about what changes have taken place since 2012 regarding bulk item pickup, because I remember that we would have a problem throughout our city with all of these bulk items remaining out there for a long period of time. I'd like you to also talk about the vehicle change since 2012, the reduced emissions vehicles, and also the cost of labor. This is a good setting, as was alluded to. This is a good setting to begin the education process relative to the changes that have taken place since 2012.
Yeah, all great points. Councilmember Green, so you're right. The opportunity that the city had when we were issuing these new contracts in 2022 and 2024 really allowed us to transform the service basis. So to start with, at its most base level, historically the city had contracted for solid waste and recycling collection services via low-cost bid. And as many folks are aware, sometimes a low-cost bid, the result that you get isn't the best service level, but the lowest cost basis. And that's what we were operating under. What was demonstrated time and time over again through a series of contracts was that those low-cost bid contracts were not sustainable through the course of their terms. They were 10-year contracts. They started out okay, but quickly the costs went up as the term went on, and contractors were incurring additional costs and where the service level was going down, but they weren't able to reinvest into those contracts. These contracts that we procured in 2022 and 2024 were done via RFP, so selection committee, via scoring criteria that allowed us to weigh not only costs, but also experience, level of service, and worker benefits and equipment, which you alluded to. So all of these new contracts required brand new equipment to be purchased by the contractors in larger quantities to provide the level of service that the city expected. Many people around the city will remember leading up to and during Hurricane Ida, we had a lot of issues with older trucks leaking what we'll call trash fluids around the city, which is quite noxious, and we receive complaints daily about that, where residents would have debris and fluids left in front of their households. It would leave an awful smell, which would need to be maybe or maybe not cleaned up, and that was happening quite frequently based on the age and the condition of that fleet. We also introduced new equipment types as part of these contracts. So in addition to our traditional rear load garbage truck, which has 2 hoppers on the back, we also have automated side load trucks, which operate in Area 3. So these are trucks that have an arm on the side, which allows the truck to pick up the 95-gallon cart and empty it without the assistance of a physical person. We introduced what we refer to as grapple trucks. So these are the larger trucks that have a container on the back with an actual claw that an operator operates. And as you mentioned, Councilmember Green, this allows our contractors to pick up those bulk items, which may be furniture, mattresses, eviction debris, and whatnot, that for 2 people in the back of a garbage truck to pick up can be quite cumbersome. But for that grapple truck, which we see most frequently post-hurricane events, now you're seeing those every week in your neighborhoods picking up those large debris items. We also included flatbed trucks. So as part of these new contracts, our contractors will pick up every week up to 4 waste tires from eligible service locations. If you call 311, they'll also pick up e-waste and bring it to the Department of Sanitation to safely dispose of. So again, if you have TVs, you have computer monitors, any other electronics, you should be calling 301 to put in a service request for that. If you have waste tires that you want to get rid of, the same. And then the reason why it's important that you call 301 is because a different truck comes to fulfill those requests. If you have waste tires or electronics, that flatbed truck is coming to your house. If you have bulk items that's too big for the regular garbage truck to pick up, that grapple truck is going to come to your house. So all of these equipment enhancements, again, provided us to provide a higher level of service. As you mentioned, this is brand new equipment. It is operating much more efficiently and is much more environmentally friendly with regards to emissions. A big change that happened when we switched from twice a week to once a week trash collection was that we went from operating 6 days a week to 5 days a week, which meant we're not in your neighborhoods on a Saturday, which is a great thing, and we're only coming to your house once a week. So that means that our large, heavy equipment vehicles are only traversing down your city streets, which in a lot of cases are historical and not in the greatest condition, once a week versus maybe twice or 3 times a week, which they previously were. That equates to a significant reduction in the wear and tear on the streets in our neighborhoods, the damage that those heavy trucks can potentially do, the vibrations on your home, and whatnot. And again, we're there less frequently. Trash and recycling collection is occurring the same day. That means carts are hopefully only curbside once a week, and they're out of sight, out of mind the other 6 days a week. A major factor in the scoring criteria for those RFP was around workers and worker protections. So ensuring these were full-time positions that provided wages above the city's living wage, that included benefits packages for health care for these employees, and that an overabundance of PPE, protective equipment, was made available to these employees. So now when you see the new trucks traversing throughout the neighborhood, you see employees with uniforms, with PPE, operating safely on new equipment, and all of that provides for a really good work environment. The people that are providing solid waste and recycling collection services around the city are doing that 52 weeks a year in all conditions. When it rains, trash and recycling still gets picked up. When it was cold this year, trash and recycling still gets picked up. When it's extremely hot for the summer months of the year, trash and recycling still gets picked up. So it's important that we really, provide the due that's due to these employees who provide this valuable service, and make sure that they're being taken care of, because it is an extremely valuable service, and they do deserve to have that pay and those benefits that comes along with this.
Please be very deliberate about sharing with the public the differences between 2012 and now. As you did so eloquently just now in response to my question and Council Member Hughes' questions, but the public does want to know that, especially now that the issue has been raised relative to the potential increase. A 2-pager, something that you use and go to every community meeting that you can, social media and the like. But I appreciate that thorough explanation. I do want to mention one thing, and it's really not a question. It's a message to the illegal dumpers in our city. The city's Department of Sanitation cleaned up 3,700 illegal dumps last year. That's an average of 10 a day plus, 7 days a week. My office receives messages from constituents almost daily, and we contact your department, and therefore the police get contacted. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of money spent, and it's something that takes up a lot of time that other people could be doing. My message is kind of a simple one, and it's a consistent message. If you get paid to take somebody's refuse and bring it, you're supposed to bring it properly to a dump, and you stop at the corner of such and such under I-10, or you stop by the railroad track, or you stop at somebody's vacant house, or elderly person who's not living there anymore, you are a criminal. And that is why the police put out, be on the lookouts, BOLOs, BOLOs, for those sort of persons. I appreciate the work that the New Orleans Police Department is doing under various trying circumstances, but I want to let illegal dumpers know there are people who are being caught, who are paying fines, who aren't going to be doing it again because of the significance of the fines. I wish that we could get higher fines for it, because I think some people have just decided that it's the cost of doing business. I just want to emphasize how much to you I see the workers of the Department of Sanitation when we call for cleanup, including for situations where there are people who are living outside who should not be living outside. They get helped by the Departments of Health and also the Office of Homeless Services and Strategies and maybe other organizations. But I do see the cleanups, and I appreciate it. It could be a lot more simple if those who have been paid for the jobs to properly dispose of trash would go to Almanasta Avenue and do it correctly. If you've been paid, you're a criminal if you decide that you're going to do it and you're going to dump it in somebody's neighborhood, in their backyards and the like. So thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Harris is recognized.
Thank you, Chair Hughes. Matt, I want to first start by saying thank you for always participating, you and your team, in our community cleanup days. We have one coming up in April. And I can tell you that when we clean up these areas, they actually stay clean, so we're not seeing relapses in illegal dumping. I do want to follow up with Councilmember Green's question about illegal dumping. I know that we have a lot of illegal tires and mass tire dumpings in District B and throughout other districts as well. Is your team equipped to handle those, to get those tires out of areas, or do you need additional resources?
Certainly we are equipped to remove the tires, but the sheer volume, 40 to 50,000 tires, takes up a significant amount of our time. And as I think all of you are alluding to, the city has a lot of needs, and when we spend time doing things like removing 50,000 tires from the public right-of-way, that just means that that's time that those 51 employees aren't doing something else. And there are a lot of higher value-add things that I think the Department of Sanitation could be doing with our time.
I'm going to put on my Michael Burnside hat and ask about the tire shredder. I know that was, in the past 4 years, we kept talking about getting a tire shredder rather than, I guess, we take the tires to a private entity to shred. Is that still on the table?
We haven't explored doing any tire shredding in-house. The main bottleneck continues to be where the end use of those tires, right? So the city has 4 permitted waste tire processor sites. Holt Tires in New Orleans East is where the city and most people in our region bring their tires to. They shred the tires and take them to various end uses. The issue is providing a valuable end use for those tires. The city could shred the tires, but we would have to do something with them, and right now there's no outlet for what to do. If we had a business, an enterprise that somehow said, bring us as many shredded tires as you could, I'd be begging you for a tire shredder today for that. But essentially, we'd be stockpiling shredded tires and not really have anywhere to take them at this time.
So some entrepreneur should come up with a tire shredding mechanism.
Or just that that shredded tire is transformed to. And it seems like there are some things coming on around the world, maybe not specifically right here just yet, around a value-added end use of tires, where a tire actually has value at that point.
Right. I know Steve Nelson has talked about using shredded tires in asphalt and other playground areas. I do want to turn to 311 and how people can request a second cart or a recycling cart. Can you just touch upon that?
So, as we touched on, every service location in the city that gets city services eligible for up to 2 trash carts and 1 recycling cart. And with regards to those carts, anytime something happens with that cart, the wheel comes off, the cart's cracked, you should be calling 311 immediately. The lid gets damaged immediately to get it repaired. There's no cost to those carts or the repairs associated with them. So you can make the request by going online to 311 or calling 311 and putting that request into them. So you're going to either put in your request for your new cart, your replacement cart, your repair cart. You're going to specify solid waste or recycling. And our contractors within 5 business days will fulfill that cart. And they do that universally. So there's no service requests that go beyond those 5 business days when it comes to carts. So I know that a lot of folks don't have total faith in the 311 system. I can tell you when it comes to our curbside collection contracts and the service requests they're responsible for, carts, missed collections, dead animal pickups, they are meeting all of their SLAs. We review them weekly with them. They are meeting and exceeding those and providing those carts within 5 business days. So we encourage you to do that. As I mentioned, only 2% of the city has requested a second cart. Yet we hear time and time again about people wanting additional capacity to contain trash with once a week collection. Please make that request. You'll get a cart within 5 business days, if something happens to that cart, which you can no longer use it again, promptly call 311 so one of our contractors can get out there to repair your cart.
So, Councilmember McCarron and I were at a neighborhood association meeting yesterday, and 311 system apparently was down. You do not run 311.
Luckily, I don't.
But if 311 is actually up and running, someone can get a second trash can or a recycling cart within 5 business days.
Absolutely.
All right, just very, very quickly, we at that same neighborhood association meeting, we always get this question about seafood and what people should do, and why can't we do twice a week pickup in the high seafood times of New Orleans life. What is the answer to that?
I guess just to start with around twice a week trash collection. So obviously we're here and we're touching upon the fact that we're already facing a $24 million deficit with regards to our current service level, which is once a week trash, once a week recycling. So that's our baseline. It would cost another $1 million a month for the city to provide twice a week trash collection to our existing service locations within our current contracts. So that's $12 million a year. We were talking about it. 3 months, that's $3 million. We don't have $3 million. We don't have $12 million. And I think the value that's provided via that is extremely low. We don't have issues around the city, for the most part, around collections. People's trash is collected on time. It's collected completely. We don't have issues with debris remaining curbside for long periods of time. So I think there are some specific locations where volumes exceed what one cart can handle, and that's where that second cart and recycling cart are extremely valuable there. Providing a second collection on any period other than the full year becomes extremely problematic. When you're thinking of trying to ramp up to a second collection, that would mean that we would have to double the number of trucks, people, drivers that are out on the streets providing that service, and we would go from 5 days to 6 days. For the contractors to ramp up to twice a week collections, there's no doubt that if the city ever decided in the future they wanted to go back to that on a permanent annual basis, they could. It would be a significant level of effort. But to do it on a temporary basis, I'm not going to say is impossible, but is near impossible. To ramp up to double your staff for a 3-month period of time, one, employees are not going to sign up for a 3-month contract, especially drivers in this market right here where it's highly competitive. But for the contractors to do that only for a short period of time, it's really challenging for them, to put it politely. So we have the cost component. I think we have the operational challenge of doing it in a short period of time. I think when we look at the summer months and we're talking about waste that is noxious, that has food and other things in it, you always want to make sure that waste that goes into your trash cart is in a bag and that bag is securely tied. You don't want to put loose waste in your trash can. You don't want that bag to be open, because the way that maggots form is by getting onto that food waste. So if you're putting it in there and it's bagged and the bag is securely tied, you're going to have a tougher time for that to happen. It takes a period of days for maggots to form. You want to limit the amount of time that if you have waste like food waste in there. So I know we've talked about this in my household. If I have leftover food waste, I'm trying to keep it in the refrigerator until the last possible time before I put it in the trash can. We know that's not an option for everybody. So again, making sure things are bagged, making sure that lid is closed, and you're keeping that cart clean. If for any reason you do start to have issues in that cart with flies or maggots, spraying carts with a mixture of water and bleach will address that. And again, we don't want to get to that point, but if you do, that's something you can do.
Thank you, Mr. Torrey. I can say that, from the time I started 4 years ago up till now, your Department of Sanitation, when I started, had the highest number of complaints. I will say, and Matt will say, you probably have the lowest. So thank you for you and your team and everything that you do for the city.
Thank you very much. The board is clear. We will now move to public comment. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just say, I know there's a lot of passion around an EPA grant, and I have several comment cards related to an EPA grant related to recycling. Currently, the city is not engaged in any EPA grant, and we are going to take comments germane to the agenda. I will not take up public comments regarding an EPA grant. So we are not taking that up in this committee. We have 3 public comment cards related to sanitation. I am going to ask that your comments remain germane to sanitation. I will politely and respectfully cut you off if not. Sage Michael Pillay, followed by Renata Collins.
Hey, good evening. Good morning. I know it's going to be a long day. Hey, good evening. Good morning. I know it's going to be a long day. Well, Matt, thank you so much. I want to start off, man. You know, I know you people give you a lot of praise and everything, but from the community side, thank you so much for all you've been doing with illegal dumping. You've been taking care of all those dumping tires. For cleanup events, I mean, every time I have a cleanup event where it's on the spot, you respond, you come through. Mardi Gras, you team also do it. And listen, y'all, Claiborne Corridor is one of my off-site offices. I hang at Park a lot. And to me, you know, I know we have a culture down there that have the vendors. Trust me, I eat on Claiborne every day, as well as I enjoy the culture. But it shouldn't be Matt Torres Sanitation Department that's on a regular schedule cleaning up behind ourselves. We got to establish a culture of cleanliness. We got to do for ourselves. I mean, if we talk about cost reduction, the cost reduction is waste reduction. Let's make a more sustainable city. Let's stop doing these one-offs, and let's create a culture of cleanliness, which I've been working on for a long time, and actually help formulate a nonprofit called The Same. You know, let's work on a comprehensive strategy with illegal tire dumping. There are many efforts that have been happening now, but we're working on a comprehensive strategy, Matt, where we all come to the table and we work on those solutions in buckets. That'll be coming your way. So it's all about a comprehensive strategy and make sure that we clean up behind ourselves. And it shouldn't be the Department of Sanitation doing that, and reducing waste is the way we save money. We can't keep throwing money at the problem. We got to throw self-accountability at the problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am going to make a motion to suspend the rules to allow 1 minute per speaker. Can I get a second? Second by Councilmember Green. All in favor can respond by aye. Aye, 5 yeas, no nays. That motion is adopted. We'll move forward to 1 minute per speaker.
Awesome. Well, this won't take us long at all. The mic is off? Okay. One of my biggest things is working in the mic is off? Okay. One of my biggest things is working in the sanitation department while living in Minnesota. We also had a compost department. I haven't seen a compost here yet. That would assist with the reduction of the costs. That's one thing I want to suggest, compost, because that's a big thing. If we can do that, we can be able to reduce the cost. The next thing is, I heard how, Green, you stated that when we have sanitation, it reduces the resources we can bring to the community, recreation. So how about we take the tires and do events with the children so that they can be able to have something to do, and then we create that in the budget as well so that we can maximize our opportunity while also uplifting our community. I hear a lot of issues. I do believe that it's time for solutions, and solutions means that we're a government that not only takes but gives. Thank you for your time, and I hope you take this into deep consideration.
Thank you very much. Annie Moran, followed by Chris Lang.
Thank you. My name's Annie Moran. Thank you. My name's Annie Moran. I'm a citizen of the 7th Ward, and I'm here to ask that the city continue supporting residential curbside recycling and expand access to recycling by transitioning to an opt-out program. We are a city plagued by garbage. I cannot take a stroll around my block or even City Park without encountering litter. What disturbs me more than the eyesore of the piles of litter under the Claiborne Bridge or the plastic films that blow into my yard almost daily is knowing that there are tons and tons more of it sitting in landfills that could have been reused or recycled. Tons of usable material that instead of polluting our land, water, and bodies could have been utilized, sparing us from a significant amount of additional extraction of the earth, of which we only have one. We have funds from the EPA, that are not being.
Thank you very much. Chris Lang, followed by Darnell Phillipson. Thank you very much, Chris Lang. Thank you very much, Chris Lang.
I really want to ask, we presented a CART contract in front of you guys. I really want to ask, we presented a CART contract in front of you guys, my name is Chris Lang, in September to the former administration, and you guys swept it under the rug for 6 months. This is related to the EPA Swiffer grant for curbside recycling. You cannot sweep this under the rug anymore. As far as capacity is concerned, there is an offer on the table for a MRF in New Orleans East that has been on the table since 2022, but a failure to rezone that land has been keeping us a throwaway city for the last 3 years. As Matt was alluding to, we're spending $55 million on contracts. $6.1 million of that is lost to a service not provided because 42% of our houses have recycling carts. 58% do not have carts but are paying for that service, the majority of whom are working class black New Orleanians. To reverse that disparity, we have the funds to provide those carts, but you guys, all of you, are complicit in withholding federal funding to provide a universal access for people. It is on you, not Matt Tory, nobody else.
Thank you very much.
It is on you guys.
Darnell
You have a contract in front of you that you can approve.
Darnell Phillipson, followed by Ben Bagnell.
I don't know if I can top that. Darnell Phillipson, 1411. I don't know if I can top that. Darnell Phillipson, 1411, Henry Clay. What are we going to do if we're not collecting property taxes? We can raise them, but what are we going to do? District A. I am a middle-aged woman with a laptop that's 6 years old, and just doing some quick math on my own, in 2025, we have outstanding taxes in District A of right under $400,000.
Ms. Phillipson.
No. It does make
cut off
sense.
the mic.
Let me
Cut off the mic, please.
What
Cut
I'm
off the
saying
mic,
is,
please. We are on sanitation. We are not talking about property tax. I will give you 30 seconds if you want to talk about sanitation. We are going to stay germane to the topic at hand. With all due respect, I will not allow grandstanding in this committee. Now you can cut on the mic, and if she wants to use the duration of her 32 seconds to talk about sanitation, you may do that.
how are you getting the 24 million? Where are you getting the money?
28 seconds left to talk about sanitation.
Where are you getting the money for the garbage? Where are you getting it? Where are you getting it? Property taxes. If you're not collecting property taxes.
Thank you, Ben Bagnell. Forgive me if I'm Thank you, Ben Bagnell. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name, followed by Lily Kane.
Good morning, Ben Bagwell. Just wanted to reintroduce myself to all the... Good morning, Ben Bagwell. Just wanted to reintroduce myself to all the council members here. Some of you are very familiar with my work. My family has been in New Orleans for over 100 years. The future of recycling in New Orleans is not recycling. It's called Real Cycle. We have the potential to show the world what happens when, as a community, we respect the earth, we respect our resources, we respect each other, and we respect the natives who are here and have been here for a very long time. Real Cycle is based around Mother Nature. There is no waste in nature. We have the opportunity to turn our waste, those crawfish shells, the organics, the mulch, into soil. We're losing land. We are sinking. Please, let's think creatively. A commingled recycling system, if you pay attention to trends around the country, is broken. Let's just collect aluminum cans. They're trading at $1 a pound right now. We're throwing away money. There are creative solutions. Let's work together.
Thank you. Lily Kane, followed by Keely Lewis.
Hi, my name is Lily Kane. I'm a constituent of Leslie Harris, and I've spent over 1,000 hours picking up and sorting waste and recycling at a local park, as well as working with Compost Now, which is a compost organization within the city. We absolutely have to look at the situation. There's money on the table. I'm hearing rumors about grants. I'm hearing rumors about IV Waste not doing recycling properly. we need to help hold all the teams accountable. And Louisiana is not in a talent drain. There are talented people who are making plans. There are talented people who have been speaking up for their communities, whether it's the East or like rural parts of Louisiana. There are talented like other, like Compost Now, Smellies, Real Cycle. There are lots of people working on this, and we have to work together, and we have to use the money that's on the table and stop. I don't know why people are acting like there's not money on the table or grants that we might lose. Like, we have to keep the waste. There's no way the waste can be sorted. The waste can be used for other things, and we're killing ourselves when we're not doing it. So we've got to get with it.
Thank you very much. Keely Lewis.
Good morning. I just wanted to speak for a minute because good morning. I just wanted to speak for a minute because I'm really upset about the sanitation issue, and I'm really upset about the recycling issue and the composting issue because it's an issue about circular economy. We're not investing in our youth. We're not investing in our economy or even taking advantage of the job creation that we could generate simply from properly recycling and generating, products through circular economy, specifically thinking about the recycling and making Mardi Gras beads, correct? Now, one of the things that I'm really upset about is we do know that the city does believe in causes that don't necessarily help our community in the way that we expect it, right? I'm a design thinker. We don't throw away the Community Lighthouse program because they close their doors at 8 o'clock. We don't throw away our seed libraries because they don't have libraries.
Thank you very much. We appreciate everyone being here today. So now we're going to move on to agenda item number 8, which is the Morrison Road project. Agenda item number 8. Thank you, Mr. Torrey. No, we're moving on, council member. We're moving on. We're now going to go to agenda item number 8, the Morrison Road project. Thank you, Mr. Torrey.
Thank you all.
Good morning, everyone. Whoever would like to start. Good morning, everyone. Whoever would like to start. Mr. Nelson, I don't know if you'd like to start. And this is on the agenda per city ordinance. This is a requirement per city ordinance.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilman Hughes. Thank you all for having us here. This is an update significantly on project DPW 574. This is a significant project in New Orleans East on Morrison Road. We wanted to provide a schedule update, some background information, and some updates on the start date, finish date, and make sure that everyone on the council and the public understands how they can get regular weekly updates on the status of the project as it goes forward. And with that, I will turn it over to Lewis Haywood, who is our project manager on this project.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, council. My name is Lewis Haywood. I'm the project manager for the Morrison Road Mayo to Bullard project. I'm here with Andrew Logan. He's our communications specialist for the Mobility and Safety Group. And he'll give a quick introduction for the what to expect in this presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Like Lewis said, my name is Andrew Logan, and I'm the communications manager for the Mobility and Safety Division of the Department of Public Works. So today we'll have, next after introductions, we'll have the city's complete streets policy, a project overview and a scope of work, a summary of major operational changes, which is why we're here today, a project phasing and duration, status of current work, and how residents and constituents can receive information, updates, or get questions answered from the Department of Public Works.
All right, so the reason that we requested to be here, heard the city's Municipal Code, Chapter 146, Article 2, Division 1, Section 14636, Complete Streets Program. When a project is anticipated to involve a major operational change, the Department of Public Works shall conduct a few meetings, hold 2 community engagement meetings, and appear at a hearing of the City Council Transportation Airport Committee meeting or similar meeting. We also work with the Neighborhood Engagement Office and other city engagement channels to ensure the advertising of those community engagement meetings. So as part of this project, there is an operational change per that ordinance, namely a lane reduction for one section of the project. So as part of that, we requested to be here today. The Morrison Road project is the Morrison Road project is a $23.6 million project funded by 80% by the Federal Highway Administration and 20% by the New Orleans Bond Program, with the goal to improve community access and travel along the Morrison Road corridor. Specifically, it's a roadway pavement rehabilitation project, as well as sidewalks. We'll be doing pavement repairs. We'll be doing repairs to 3 bridges, the Lawrence Canal Bridge, the Citrus Canal Bridge, and the Bird Canal Bridge, as well as replacement of 2 bridges, the Benson Canal Bridge and the Farrar Canal Bridge. As well, we'll be installing a new bicycle facility, a 2-way curb-protected greenway path along the eastbound side of Morrison Canal, that's the south side of the canal, between Mayo and Reed. We'll also be doing some additional landscaping improvements near Lake Willow Drive and near Benson Street. You can see that on the screen right now, how we conceive those. So basically creating new neighborhood parks where we have these complex intersections. And another example here at Benson Court. As far as the operational changes that we're here to present to you, generally speaking, it's going to be the same layout with the exception of one part of Morrison Road, which is the south side of Morrison Road between Mayo and Reed. Right now, we have 2 eastbound through lanes. In the future, or after this project's complete next year, the left lane, today's left lane, eastbound left lane, will be a 2-way neighborhood greenway path, and you'll be able to walk or bike on alongside the canal. We performed a traffic study and found that there'd be no impact. We will have capacity, we're maintaining a similar capacity to today at the intersections in order to kind of compensate for that lane not being there. So, in terms of the project phasing, phase 1 is already underway. It's going to involve the bridge repairs for the 3 bridges that I mentioned, roadway rehabilitation and sidewalk improvements. The contractors has mobilized to the area between Wright and Bullard. So that's where we're starting with concrete repairs in that area. This bridge repair phase will be between February and so last month and July. So we expect the bridge repairs, which is going to be the pier repairs under the bridge, those will be complete by July. And then the contractor is going to move on to the bridge replacements. So replacing the Benson Canal and Farrar Canal Bridge. That's going to occur between August and May of next year. Following that, will complete the green space beautification and cleaning up the area with a final date of June 2027. In total, the project will last 540 calendar days per contract. That contract time began February 14th. It'll end in June 2027. Any project schedule changes, once approved and put into plan change, will be communicated to the public. And any overages to that schedule include liquidated damages. Today's status as of today, crews have installed temporary traffic control measures on both sides of Morrison Road. Construction right now is taking place between Wright and Bullard, working on concrete panel replacement, ADA ramps, and sidewalk removal and replacement. I'll pass it on to Andrew to talk about what to expect.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Andrew Logan, and what residents can expect during construction is noise, dust, debris, temporary detours, or lane closures, equipment or materials staged in the area, contractor and subcontractor on-site meetings with staff, so meaning you'll see people invest, walking around, talking, inspecting the work, and everything will be secured on-site ahead of any major storm event if that should occur. The type of notices that residents can look forward to are notices of construction, which will include construction timeline, any impacts to parking, mail delivery, and trash pickup. We have committed to giving those every 30 days throughout the construction process. And delivery methods can include flyers, door hangers, signage along the project corridor, text, and emails. We do have on here notice of water disruption. That's not something that we're anticipating with this project because this is not a project that includes utilities. But if by chance something does happen, we will notify the residents of a service disruption. Any road closures will be notified and communicated to the public. Notice that one or more travel lanes will be temporarily closed, and those methods can include text messages, emails, and things like that. So we encourage residents to sign up for text alerts. We encourage residents to sign up for text alerts. Residents can text road work to 77295, and it'll respond to you and allow you to give your zip code. And by giving your zip code, you'll be able to curate your text messages to whichever neighborhood you live in. You can do multiple zip codes. So if you live in New Orleans East, let's say, but you own a business uptown and you want to know what's going on uptown, but also what's going on near your home, you can do that by entering multiple zip codes. So they can stay informed during construction. We are working on putting on a newsletter that residents can visit NOLA.gov/DPW newsletter, and they can sign up for email updates. We put out notices on Nextdoor, which is a social media platform, and also looking to utilize Instagram. This project does have a web page. A simpler way to get to it is going to NOLA.gov/DPW projects, scrolling down and finding the Morrison Road project. On there, we share 2-week look-aheads. There's PowerPoints that we've presented to the public available there, renderings of the project, and any traffic advisories or press releases that we put out, we update the website with those as well. So again, my name is Andrew Logan, and residents can call 504-658-8036. That will take you to Farron in our DPW office. You can ask her your question and she'll relate it back to me. You can also email dpwprojectinfo@nola.gov, which will take you to that same person. She'll relay the question back to me. And then from there, me and the resident will have constant communication between one another. From there, I'll share my work phone number, I'll share my email, and I'm always available to answer questions for us.
If I may add one more thing, I know that the contractor had previously noted they would be starting before Mardi Gras. Just started on March 9th. We've got Renegade here, RNGD here to answer any questions, and they have also assured us that they will still complete the project within the original contractual timeline. Looking to my left to make sure we get nods of affirmation. So I know there were issues with submittals and getting their paperwork in order. I'm sure they can answer any questions around that, but I do want to be sure that it's clear that the contract schedule will be met.
Yeah, thank you very much, Steve, and I was going to ask that on the record. Look, let me just say, I don't know the last time any of you at the table prior to January took a trip to New Orleans East between Crowder and Vandercloot. Morrison Road has been blocked up and torn up for quite some time, with not one truck, bulldozer, or anything else in sight. Just been shut down. People are literally driving the wrong way up Morrison. On January 12th today, I raised my hand and took an oath. At 6 o'clock, I was at Goretti Church hearing from Public Works and the contractors. And it was announced that day that this project would commence the day before Mardi Gras, to which the residents responded with chuckles and asked on the record, are you sure this project is going to start the day before Mardi Gras, to which they were assured it was. I want all of you to know there's a lot of skepticism from my residents that this project is going to be done timely and that it's going to be done with high quality. And so we're going to be looking with a very fine-tooth comb to make sure that the things that Renegade promised on the record to my constituents are being fulfilled. So I want to hear from the contractors on the record that will this project be completed on time? Or will we hear excuses when we're at the end of the project next year?
This project will be completed on time.
And can you identify yourself for the record?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Poe, project manager for Renegade Construction. And if I may add some clarity to the delayed actual construction start. Although you may not have seen large construction equipment on site, I will note that our in-house survey team mobilized to the site on the 15th of January to complete topographic survey, and actually in doing so identified issues with proposed finish grading of the roadway prior to our mobilization in an effort to minimize inconveniences on residents. By beginning the work and ultimately stopping, demobilizing, we decided to delay the start of actual construction to gather this data and required for development of the grades. Moving forward, as Lewis mentions, we do have the lane closure installed on eastbound Morrison Road from Reed Boulevard to Bullard. We have crews on site, workers on site beginning to demolish the existing oil and cement concrete pavement. And moving forward, some measurements that have been implemented to prevent further delay. RNGD, in conjunction with DPW and engineer HNTB, have developed a process in which work together on the front end, identify potential issues with the grade work, and work it out ahead of time.
I just want to be clear, moving forward, if there's any delay whatsoever, I expect to be notified directly. My last question, the residents were very passionate on January 12th asking about DBE participation, to which Renegade did not have concrete responses. So can you give me an update on the DBE participation within this project?
Yes. As mentioned in the pre-construction meeting, we do have a 13% DBE goal contractually required by this project. We have subcontractors signed up to appease this goal, to adhere to this goal. Regarding a question that was asked in the pre-construction meeting, I believe related to specific percentages of our workforce, we are an equal employment, equal opportunity employer, and For residents who are, who inquire about possibly working, I'd be happy to direct them to our website, rngd.com/careers, in which case they can apply, and they will be evaluated based off of performance and hired if so.
Okay, so to use your term, appease, have you appeased the 13% goal? Have you met it, or where are we on that?
We have contracts established meeting the 13%.
Okay. Are we striving to exceed it?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You want to say something?
Well, my name is Brett Ellis. I'm sector leader for RNGD Civil Heavy Bridge. We have Megan Beckham in our audience right now, who is our HR coordinator, and she has told me that if the community is interested, we'd be more than willing to set up a job fair in the area discussing opportunities in the construction industry.
Okay. My phone, door, email's always open. I'm happy to coordinate with that, so you all can feel free to reach out to me anytime, 24/7.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. With that, the board is clear. We have one comment card on this item, Renata Collins. We have one comment card on this item, Renata Collins.
So much. My biggest question is because of quality assurance. Thank you so much. My biggest question is because of quality assurance being a matter of the issue that I hear, and I heard on the record to say that how things would be done in order. What quality assurance do we have in place that will effectively create a timeline so that we can know exactly what to expect? Because if we don't know what that timeline consists of, and we don't know who's in charge of it, how will we know that this here matter has been taken care of according to the information that's been shared, such as that it will be done in a record time? The next thing is, if that is going to be met, how is it that we're still looking for employees at this time if we already have a time frame of which we're trying to meet? So will there be proper training in place? Would it be a service that we're going to have in place, but not only have it done, but quality? We've had too many buildings that collapsed in New Orleans in the last few years, so we don't just need people to work. We need to make sure we have quality work so that we don't have to be in this place again refixing the problem.
Outstanding.
Go ahead, Steve.
May I? Yes, thank you, ma'am. Great questions. I know that we will have regular, is it weekly or bi-weekly updates that we'll be sending out?
Bi-weekly.
So every 2 weeks, we will send out an update with the schedule. It will include a look ahead. As Lewis and Andrew mentioned, we will have monthly regular updates. We intend to appear before this meeting and provide accountability and transparency. There are also inspectors involved in the job, making sure that the construction takes place in accordance with the plans and specifications. And as far as the job fair, I can't speak for RNGD, but I know that they are doing a significant amount of work in the region, and my guess would be, and I'll let you speak to this if you would like, is that they're looking for motivated employees for a number of projects, would be my supposition, if I could be so bold.
For the record, RNGD has over 450 employees. The civil division alone has 235 plus, and it's growing every day. And we're always on search. So the offer to do a job fair was for the future, not only of our company, but of the community and the people that are interested in joining the industry.
Thank you very much. I look forward to following up on those conversations. Thank you all for being here. In closing, I just want to say, I want to look Renegade in the eye. You are doing a lot of work in New Orleans East. You're doing this project. It's my understanding you're involved in the Lincoln Beach project. You owe it to my community to do right by my community, meaning to complete this project on time and with high quality. My community deserves that. Thank you very much. Next up, Sewage and Water Board. I know members have a lot of questions, so what we're going to do is... All right, I know members have a lot of questions, so what we're going to do is we're going to allow Sewage and Water Board to cycle through their entire presentation, and then we'll give members the opportunity to ask questions. And Council Vice President Willard is already in the queue, so he'll be first.
All right. I'll go ahead. All right, good morning, everybody. Caitlin Timrack, the Interim General Superintendent of the Sewage and Water Board. As you said, we do have a number of items to speak to today. We are going to start with the water main breaks that we have experienced over the last several weeks. And I do want to start off by acknowledging that we recognize the extreme frustration and hardship that many residents have felt because of this. And we are on site this morning with our customer service representatives, meeting with those homeowners and individuals to talk with them and address some of their concerns. So we will start with we're working backwards a little bit from the most recent item being the water main break at Carrollton Panola, which occurred Monday morning around 2:15 a.m. This is the 48-inch water main at Panola and Carrollton. This break was isolated around 5:15 a.m., but unfortunately we had to issue a precautionary boil water advisory for a large portion of the East Bank, including Uptown, CBD, French Quarter, Mid-City, portions of Gentilly, the Upper and Lower Ninth Ward, and some small sections of New Orleans East. That precautionary BWA has been lifted as of this morning, however. So if folks have not yet received that notification, that has been lifted. The crews presently on site and are working to make a repair, and we expect the main to return to service by the end of the week. Okay. No, all good. So this is a quick sequence of events. Excuse us one moment. Okay. No, all good. So just as a quick sequence of events on this item, the break occurred around 2:15 a.m. We were alerted to a pressure drop. Our inspectors went out to identify the location. We called in our valve crews to go out to be able to turn the necessary valves in order to isolate the leak. NOPD had already identified, or around the same time, had identified large flooding in the street at Claiborne and Carrollton, and they had initiated an initial NOLA-ready post regarding what was called a public safety incident at the time. That's something they had initiated, and initiated street closures in that area. We first put out our social media posts regarding the incident around 3:15, and were able to close the first valve to isolate the break around 4:35, and were able to complete the final closure to make the final isolation around 5:15 a.m. After that, we were able to determine the boil water advisory boundaries, and did notifications to the State Health Department, Board, Council members, City Council, NOLA ready, and issued the official boil water advisory around 6:15 that morning, via website, press releases, and social media updates as well. Right, so again, that work the repair is active, and at this point, we believe we'll be able to return the main line to service by the end of the week. However, there will be lower than normal pressures around the city during this time, which is additionally partially related to the previous water main break at Magnolia and Jackson. This occurred last Wednesday, right around 11 a.m. This is a 30-inch water main in that area. No boil water advisory was required due to that. However, we have not been able to fully isolate the break yet due to needing special equipment to complete that work, and we are now reevaluating the timeline to repair that in light of the Panola water main break. Our system, we have a number of valves and isolation points, but our system is looped in many ways, and so it's not easy for us to necessarily isolate small sections without having a larger impact on the entire area, on the entire city. This takes us to Monday, February 23rd. And this takes us to Monday, February 23rd, not very long ago, when there was a similar situation at Claiborne and Toledano. This occurred at around 4 a.m. that morning. And we do have a timeline of events that occurred for that break. That section of the street was again flooded as well, as many as you saw. We were able to isolate that in the morning. We're able to begin repairs on Tuesday. And on Saturday, the water main was returned to service with the full roadway in service by Sunday morning on March 2nd. We did have to issue a limited boil water advisory, a second item, the second BWA during this time for a small section of Broadmoor, Marleyville, Fontainebleau, BW Cooper, and the Hoffman Triangle due to a 12-inch water main repair that caused a drop in pressure in that area because pressures were already low. This event, which would not normally cause this type of impact, just had an additional effect.
Good morning, Randy Heyman, Executive Director. I want to stress that communication is important, and especially when we have a boil water advisory notification. I want to provide a reminder of the ways we communicate with our stakeholders and affected residents and visitors when we have to issue a precautionary boil water advisory. These include press releases, participating in media coverage, posting a banner on our website, automated call center notifications, notifications sent through the customer portal, and also partnership with NOLA Ready Alerts and social media posts. I want to also stress that our water main work continues. All of the green lines that you see on the map were replacements completed as part of our previous transmission main replacement projects. While there is focus on the large main breaks, key work on our mains continue. We have repairs underway at a 48-inch main on Panola and Carrollton, a 30-inch main at Willow and Calhoun, and a 48 main at Carrollton and Calhoun, and a 48 main at Carrollton and Sonita, as well as a 24-inch main at Burgundy and Desalonde in the Holy Cross neighborhood. We also have repairs that are upcoming, including a 30-inch valve at South Claiborne and Earhart, and a 30-inch valve at Fillmore and Cartier. One thing I want to stress at this point is, as we deal with the water main breaks, it's our position we need to guide two trains at one time. The first train is we have to audit and implement repairs to the system. Also, the second train is that we have to aggressively pursue funding to allow us to do that very act. I want to stress that when I was at Claiborne Street when we had the flood there, we stressed that we needed to change the narrative, and that to do that we need to use new technologies, we need to possibly secure the joints on our system, we need to investigate putting a pipe within a pipe to reinforce it. Those are all things that we are analyzing and reviewing. And so staff is looking at it, they're analyzing it, they're putting a cost to it, and we will, in the end, I believe we'll use a variety of opportunities in that bag of systems that would assist us in repairing what we have. So I think it would be more than just one is what I'm trying to say. Now, we have been working since Claiborne on an analysis of our system, which also includes that we believe we're going to have to do an in-pipe review. Okay, it's going to be more than just leak detection. An in-pipe review, we're able to put equipment inside the pipe, and it analyzes the structure of the pipe. That's going to be part of an audit that we're going to need to do, whether it's a full-blown audit of the entire system or if it's an audit of the areas that we know are problematic. I want to stress that yesterday, by fate, I was in Washington at the time that the breaks took place. And what happened, I was in Washington because we had all-day meetings already scheduled with our federal legislators. And so I met with the staff for Representative Carter, Senator Cassidy, Representative Scalise, and Senator Kennedy's office. I want to stress they were all enthusiastic about helping us. They showed concern for what we have. I was able to walk through what our needs are. And I'll be honest with you, I was there because I wanted to be first in line to let them know what New Orleans' needs were, and I wanted to be loud and accurate on what we need assistance with. And so originally the deadline was yesterday for some of them as far as getting in your earmarks and all. And so we were there and they met with us and they know what our concerns are, and we will go back at the proper at the proper time. I'll go to the next slide, please. Much of our water distribution system is past its usable life, or life expectancy. Over 34% of our transmission mains are over 100 years old. As part of our JRR program, over 115 miles of water lines, 7% of our system were replaced through transmission main projects. The location of these projects was determined by FEMA using criteria such as pipe age, size, pipe material, and the historical frequency of breaks and repairs. An additional 4 projects are designed and ready to put out to bid. However, there is currently not a funding source for this construction. We are seeking additional funding for these projects. We will also be seeking input from industry on availability of technology solutions that will save us money and provide needed insight in the conditions of our buried pipe, as I mentioned earlier.
Randy, if I may just make one clarification, the number of the miles of our transmission mains over 100 years old is about 33.8 miles.
Okay.
Yeah, just to clarify. Thank you.
Okay. Next slide. As we move from water main replacement to lead service lines, we'd like to clarify that the funding for the lead service lines cannot be used for main replacement. It's a different bucket of money. The funding sources have different purposes. This is a brief update on the status of our lead service line replacement program. Bids for the program management of this work were due on Friday, March 6th. We received 4 bids and are evaluating them now for responsiveness. In this upcoming legislative session, we are working with Senator Duplessis on legislation that will allow us to use SRF funds on private property. In shorthand, we call that simply using public funds on private property. It's not allowed at this time under the law, and the issue is we cannot be reimbursed unless we're able to secure that the line has no lead on the private side and the public side. So we have to get over that hurdle first before we can receive reimbursement. Next slide. On this slide, I just want to make sure that the public is aware of sources of lead in their homes and in water. EPA has good information on health impacts and how to protect yourself, which is shown here in the picture. Also, as a reminder, the larger pipes in our system do not contain lead. It is the smaller service lines under 4-inch that contain lead. I'll hand it back to Kate.
Yeah, that concludes our update in the water mains. Would you like us to continue or pause at this point?
Why don't we pause here? I think members have some questions. So Vice President Willard is recognized.
Thank you, Chairman Hughes. Randy, what you were laying out sounds fine and dandy, but doesn't get to the immediate crisis, nightmares that the people of the city of New Orleans are being plagued with, seemingly on a weekly basis. So my first question is, I know there's a lot of construction work going on, particularly in that Carrollton-Panola area. Did that cause this water main to break? Is construction work having some type of impact on these mains breaking, or is it just that they're old and they're going to break? I just want to understand if the construction is having any impact on those breaks.
Primarily it's based on age, but I would like the General Superintendent to add on to that, please.
Sure. So specifically at the Claiborne, we know that there's construction work in the area. Would be a further analysis that would have to be done in order to make that definitive answer. So there would have to be some additional work looked at that.
Okay. 34% over 100 years old, 80% roughly over 50 years old. We should expect these things to happen, right? What's the lifespan of these pipes that we have in the city right now? I mean, I know it's past its due date.
Well, my understanding is about 50 years.
The lifespan depends on the type of the pipe, and some of them would have some of them would have a longer lifespan than that, and so that's why we're focused on these 34, 35 miles that are the larger transmission mains, that are over 100 years old. Those are the ones that we are seeing issues with right now. Not entirely, but those are the ones we've seen break recently.
Every time we have one of these water main breaks, we see on the news residents in the affected areas saying, hey, we reported this to the city, to 311, to Sewage and Water Board for months, for years, water bubbling from underneath the concrete or the asphalt. Are we tracking that? How many instances like that do we have throughout the city right now? Any idea?
We will have to we are combing through, the information that we have. We do want to take this report seriously. I think, as we mentioned in the last meeting, what will happen will be something small and does get worse over time, right? And so that's an area of improvement for us to go back and monitor these locations for changes in condition.
I mean, is that a sign that a water main break could be occurring? A pipe could burst in that area and cause flooding?
Go ahead.
Is that a good indicator?
I think leaks. No leak is necessarily a good thing. I think depending on the size of the main, though, would determine the impact.
That's true, and we have to evaluate where the leak is coming. Is it coming
Correct.
from the service line or from the main?
Yep.
From the main itself. But you make a good point. The issue we have, as we saw on Claiborne, is that we had a number of leaks, and so we had to basically try to prioritize where we could put manpower to address the different issues that we have. Again, this is where receiving additional funding is going to go a long way in allowing us to fix the system. When I was in Philadelphia, we were able to replace a certain amount of pipe on the water side and wastewater side every year because they had funding for that. Here we don't, and so we are limited funding that goes across water, wastewater, and drainage. And so that money that water has is very limited, and puts us in a situation where we have to prioritize what we're able to address to the best of our ability.
Makes sense. But when these water main breaks, we have to come up with the funding to mitigate, to stop the leak, to replace the piping, to fix the piping, to resurface the road. We have to do, it sounds like it's way more expensive to wait to act after it ruptures, after it bursts. Not to mention the flooded cars, the flooded homes, the nightmares for everybody, for all the homeowners, the renters, and the businesses in those areas. So what I'm talking about is identifying, call it hotspot locations, where you have reports of water bubbling up, which is an indicator that a water main is going to burst, and coming up with some sort of mitigation plan. Because what it seems like to me is occurring is every time we replace one of these water mains that bursts and wreaks havoc on a neighborhood, there's a redistribution of the pressure that causes another water main to burst at another weak spot. And if we continue going at this rate, we're going to have one of these situations occur every other week, every month, way too many for the people of New Orleans. Not to mention, after all of this, you got the boil water advisory. And I was a member of the legislature when Sewage and Water Board said our biggest priority, the administration said our biggest priority is the funding for this dedicated power plant uptown to reduce the number of boil water advisories the people and businesses in the city of New Orleans will face on a regular basis. We got the funding, the plan is up and running, and now we're having water main breaks, which are causing even more boil water advisories than the lack of power that we had. So, is there a plan right now to identify, to troubleshoot weak spots where we could be dealing with another water main break next week, in 2 weeks?
There is, in that we're looking to do an audit of the system, and as I said earlier, we're looking at the problematic areas, the areas that are leaking, and so that's top priority. We have to, you can't fix it unless you know where the problems are. And so
I get that. I get that. But every time one breaks, residents and businesses say, we've reported this. They have videos. They have pictures. They've reported it. And so for me, that looks like low-hanging fruit. So are we sending crews out right now to inspect those locations? I mean, can you tell me anything to give me a little sense of comfort or peace of mind?
Well, I would say that on one of the previous slides, we identified a number of breaks that we're aware of, and I'm, also aware that the public is certainly aware of as well. So, these would be the areas of priority for us right now, based on the severity of the leaks that we're seeing, the size of the water main that we know of, and, they are in multiple areas of the city right now. So these are some major priorities for us. There's, several others on the list as well. So I'm just wanting to
What's
show
the
that.
timeline on that, Caitlin?
Yes, so each of these needs to be planned. Because these are large transmission mains, we have to do what's called a closure. And so to plan for having this section of main from 2 points out of service. So we have to plan that work around other work. We can't do all of that at the same time. And so, the team is preparing a timeline so that we can look at how we will be doing all of that throughout the year.
I would urge you to move at a rapid pace here, way faster than normal for government, for Sewage and Water Board. And I would urge you to keep the council in the loop as you go about these measures. I will give you credit on the communication, Randy. I think you and Sewage and Water Board have been doing a good job of getting information out to the public. I just want us to get to a point where the information is not a crisis on a weekly basis, that it's not a nightmare, that it's not just causing so much havoc and chaos in the city of New Orleans right now. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you for coming before the Public Works Committee today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I know we have some additional questions, but let me just piggyback on the Council Vice President. So, Mr. Director, let me take this from a couple angles. I hear you on funding, the need for funding. I personally reached out to you all. I didn't kick this to my constituent services team. I have been getting complaints since January that residents cannot pay their bill by phone and that they get disconnected from the system. And I personally tested this before I sent you all an email, and I was kicked off of the system. And the response that I got from your team was, we ran an internal test and everything is fine. The very next day, I got a call from a constituent saying they can't pay their bill by phone, and y'all response to me was, we'll reach out to the constituent directly and help them pay their bill. So question number 1 is, when are we going to get the pay-by-phone system fixed so that residents can actually pay their bills? If we're so strapped for cash, shouldn't we be making it so accessible for people to pay their bill in every mechanism? Have any of you personally tested out the pay-by-phone system?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not, but I respect what you're saying. Now, I did speak with staff, and they said there were 5 incidents where people had difficulty paying.
5?
5.
Okay.
And they called back. They called back the individuals. And so
5 that you all know of, right?
it was my understanding that what the computer showed, but it's what we know of. Okay.
I've got far more than 5 complaints.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I may say, though, but last week we received 5 calls from customers who reportedly had difficulty completing payments using the pay-by-phone. Importantly, the system remained operational and continued processing payments during this period. However, technical review identified periods of elevated server utilization that may have contributed to intermittent call disconnects during payment attempts. It's also important to note that the phone calls may disconnect for reasons outside the SWIFNO system. They may include weak cellular signals, user input errors, or callers manually disconnecting before the transaction completes. And I do know, talking to our IT person, and we did call back the individuals, the 5 individuals, and one of them, it turned out that they had put in the wrong information and the system disconnected them. But nevertheless, we want all the communications to be clear. We want to make sure we get all the monies that are due to us. And so I agree with you. And so we're going to make sure the system's working. I believe that if it's not working 100% today, in the very short term, it will. I will say that actions taken We assisted customers connected with the call center regarding the pay by phone. We followed up and reported concerns and provided assistance as needed. We resolved the constituent cases referenced by the City Council, so we did resolve those. Information technology actions, we conducted system log analysis and performance monitoring. We performed successful test transactions to confirm the system remained operational. We increased server capacity on March 6th to expand memory and processing resources to improve system performance and stability. We opened support tickets and system vendors to review transactions activity and system performance, and we continued monitoring the system. We will continue monitoring the system as far as next steps in performance and transaction activity to ensure there's reliable operations. IT are coordinating with system vendors to review transaction logs and confirm the system interfaces are performing as expected. So I respect the concern. We did address all of the individuals that you reached out to us about.
Mr. Director, let me just say with all due respect. You know one of my biggest frustrations with Sewage and Water Board? It just seems like the leadership historically is just so disconnected from reality. Okay? I need you all to get out of the ivory tower on St. Joseph Street and really start getting connected to the realities that the everyday person is facing. I don't expect us to rely on the analysis of an IT person. I would assume that you and your entire leadership team are customers of Sewage and Water Board. So just like I personally tested the pay-by-phone system after I got a barrage of calls from constituents telling me that it's broken, I want you all to pick up the phone yourselves and attempt to pay your bill. Blaming on weak cell phone service and all of that, it's just baloney. And that's, with all due respect, that's the best thing I can say. So I need the upper echelon of Sewage and Water Board to become connected to the everyday plight of the ordinary resident within the city of New Orleans. Let me shift now, Mr. Director. Would you say that given the many weekly water main breaks, would you describe that we are at a crisis point in our system in the city of New Orleans with respect to Sewage and Water Board? Would you describe it as a crisis?
I do describe it as a crisis, that we should not have 5 a week of that size.
Okay.
And all.
So with that, being that we're at a crisis point, I am going to join the mayor in asking the question, what is the plan? What is the real plan to solve this problem? I hear you're saying, give us funding. As the chair of Public Works, I have not received the plan, meaning that, okay, item A, problem A, cost X amount, and here is the plan. Item B costs X amount, and here is the plan. I'm happy to get in the car with our mayor tomorrow as the former vice chair of the Appropriations Committee. Councilmember Willett would be happy to get in the car tomorrow as a former senior member of the Ways and Means Committee to go advocate in Baton Rouge. I don't know what we're advocating for because I don't see a plan. I'm happy to get on a plane on my dime because I most certainly can't use the city's dime to travel right now and go to Washington, D.C. and make the compelling case to our congressional delegation for more funding. Unfortunately, when I get there, I won't have a plan in my hand. There needs to be a greater sense of urgency from Sewage and Water Board. If we are at a crisis point, we need to be treating this like a crisis, and that requires a plan.
With all due respect, we are treating it as a crisis. There's also work.
Where's the plan?
But there's work that's being done that you haven't seen. Now, I want to say, as far as the plan, when I was in Washington, we requested earmarks for the EPA drinking water SRF, the drinking water main replacement. We're looking for $10 million earmark, okay? And we have addressed to them that we have 4 aging transmission mains that need replacement. Transmission main 001, 6th Street, $2 million. Transmission main 007, Magnolia, St. Joseph and Willow Street, $6.5 million. Transmission main 008, Cohen Street, $8 million. Transmission main 009, Spruce Street, $11 million. And so we do have a plan. We did speak with them about the drinking water. We also, if I may, we spoke with them about waste water treatment plant improvements. We have 3 critical projects there. We have the Carlton Water Plant Chemical Delivery System upgrades, A new chemical storage and delivery system is needed to address existing deficiencies noted by the Louisiana Department of Health, as well as improve storage capacity to withstand severe weather events. We also talked to them about the Sycamore Filter Gallery Rehab Phase 5. Again, the Sycamore Gallery is a group of dual-stage filters, which are the final stage in filtering water from the Mississippi River for pumping into the drinking water system. We talked about the Algiers plant, which was the Algiers Filter Gallery Rehab. That there is again, another filter gallery.
Have you shared that with the council? Have you shared that with my office?
I believe it was. I know it was shared with the mayor's office.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll gladly give that to you. But let me also add, because you are right in some degrees, this is what we took. These are specific requests for earmarks dealing with water, wastewater, and the treatment plant. But there's more we have to do, and you're absolutely right. Once we had the break on Claiborne, staff has been working on trying to understand what kind of audit we could do, what kind of technology we can use, and to put a dollar amount to it. They are doing that, and I'm urging that they do it quicker, but you're absolutely right. We need to give you the whole process, and we're working on that. But it would be wrong to say that we're sitting on our hands and not doing anything. We have a lot of information that we have presented to Washington to try to get funds, but you are right, we need to do more to make sure we know what the audit of the system is going to be, and then to look at what the technologies we could use.
I'm not suggesting, let me just say that you all are doing nothing. I don't want to create that picture. I'm just saying, Mr. Executive Director, we have got to operate with a greater sense of urgency, okay? With this council, what we inherited, everything is urgent for us on every given day. And given the crisis that exists within Sewage and Water Board, we've got to operate with a greater sense of urgency. Speaking of the plan, you all mentioned a potential audit. What is the timeline of the audit of these pipes? What's the plan around the audit of that? How long will it take? When will it be complete? And then what is the next steps?
We are in the process of determining that, sir.
Okay.
Some of these we cannot have an answer. Let me put it this way. It's a demanding question. It's the question that needs to be asked. It takes a little more time with the science and engineering that we have to do to give you an honest answer.
Fair enough. The sooner we can get that answer, the better we can partner with you to try to work toward a solution is all I'm saying. So if we could act with a great sense of urgency there. And then the final thing I'm going to put on the record, a couple weeks ago, my team and me personally reached out to you about Burgundy and Desalone. It's just a matter of time before the lower Ninth Ward is underwater. So can you give me an update on what's going on there? Because that appears to be a water main that's going to break in the very near future.
Yes, that is a 24-inch water main right at that intersection. Your team did bring that to our attention. We have done several closures. Again, this being a transmission main requires us to unfortunately put about 8 blocks of folks out of water if we were to do this. We have made a couple of attempts to make this repair, and the pipe needs to be kind of reset a little bit, and so we need some additional equipment to do that. And we've made a couple attempts at that. Needed to pause on that this week due to the other, unfortunate transmission main work. So that is on our previous slide as being one of our urgent priorities.
Thank you. I'm just going to flag the alarm again. We need to give that urgent attention. Final question before I yield. I've been reading that flood insurance and homeowners insurance may not cover properties that have been damaged by these water main breaks. So can you confirm if that's accurate? And if it is accurate, if property insurance and renters insurance is not going to cover this, is Sewage and Water Board planning to cover it, or what's the plan to make these individuals whole?
I don't know about their individual flood insurance policies. I do know that across the country, and in the other utilities I've worked at, there is some sovereign immunity to the utility as far as what they are required to pay legally. There's also an issue of whether we knew or should have known of a specific situation, or potential for damage. With that being said, we would have to look at each individual claim and make a determination, and we have a risk department that would be able to assist with that, and if anyone has concern, they could call 52 Water.
Well, I think that's, probably something that should be on our radar because residents are already starting to flag that. Councilmember McCarron is recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to talk about one thing really in particular and echo, both of my fellow council members about the urgency. And I can tell you the next place that's going to be a water main break is going to be at Willow and Calhoun. And that is something that there's water gushing out of that right now. And my office has been in touch with you all for weeks now. And it's my staff drove by this morning and there's more water coming out. So, I'm worried for the residents in the area, for myself. I can't sleep thinking about when is the next, 3:30 a.m. text that my residents in my district are dealing with ankle-deep water in their house. So, for these little leaks that are popping up, now it doesn't seem little to everybody. Everybody's anxious about this small thing becoming something big. So, like Councilmember Hughes said, what is the plan to address these things? And all of these little things seem to be related because they're all in the same area. So, what are we going to do specifically right now about Willow and Calhoun so tomorrow morning we don't all wake up with this happening again?
Yes, we have been in touch with your office about that, and again, as we previously mentioned, we had a test closure scheduled for that, which had to be paused due to this other work. So, but we'll have our teams go back, make a look at it, see if there's something we can do while we're in this situation with the 48-inch out of service, and see if there's something we can do to reduce that impact at this moment. But it is absolutely on our radar and one of our urgent priorities.
Okay, and then on this list you said that you guys have done some replacing of pipes when you do the JIRR FEMA road work. Can you provide like a map or a list of that? And then going forward, when you do have a plan on how you're replacing these pipes, are you going to be working in coordination with DPW on projects that are currently scheduled to happen? Because in my opinion, if somebody has a road work, open road, then that should be your priority on how you're fixing these pipes and replacing them or repairing them, whatever needs to be done. Because we don't want this consistent thing that we've seen in the city for the last 20 years of going and replacing something and then we're ripping up the street 3 and 4 and 5 times and residents have had to live with constant construction going on. So, I'm curious, whenever you do have that plan, please work in coordination with DPW on how you're going to do that. Same thing with the lead replacement lines. All of these things need to happen at the same time. So it's the same kind of coordination.
I agree. We don't want to go back and we don't want to inconvenience the neighborhood more than we have to do the work. So I agree with you 100%. We'll do all we can to coordinate with DPW.
Great. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Harris is recognized.
Thank you, Chair Hughes. Like my colleagues, we have reported leaks to you time and time again, and we don't have a timeline on repair. Specifically, there is a water leak at the intersection of Gravier and Norman C. Francis Parkway that on your dashboard indicates that it is a water main, and it's been leaking, and we've reported it over and over and over again and have no plan of action from you. So what is the plan of action?
That I will have to look into further. My apologies.
Do you have a timeline on when you're going to report back to us so we have some indication? Because just like Councilmember McCarron has water main and issues in her area that she thinks is going to be the next one, we've been reporting this one over and over again, and we think that this is going to be the next one.
Understood. We're happy to get back to you by the end of the week at the latest.
There's another leak that we reported at Magazine Street by Lillette. Do you have any update on that one?
I do not, and we'll put that on the list for evaluation.
There's another one at Toledano and Coliseum that I just passed recently that is a significant leak. Do you have any update on that?
Not at this time.
So what I'm hearing from you is that you don't have a comprehensive list of leaks. You don't have a comprehensive list of water main areas which might pose a risk of leaking. And you don't have any updates that you can provide to us about when these might be fixed or even explored?
On these 3 locations, we'll look into this and get back to you as soon as possible by the end of the week at the latest.
My question is, do you have a comprehensive list of every leak that has been reported to you?
Through our work order management system.
And are you...
And I would say the answer is yes. We have a work order management system. So as it comes in, we have a listing of what the leaks are.
How are you prioritizing those leaks and those repairs?
Those are based on the assessment of the inspector at the time, depending on if it's a water main or a service inlet, or severity of the condition at the time. And so there's an initial assessment made, and then we address them that way. I know we have a significant backlog right now. We receive, I think, around 600 new work orders every single week, and we are able to complete between 400 and 500. So we are getting a large number of work orders in general. We are completing a large number, and but I absolutely hear your concern regarding priority and regarding impact to customers, and I appreciate you, specifically on these. And I'm sorry I don't have a specific update on them for you today.
I want to add. SWIBNO is not satisfied until we're able to say to you, when you say there's a leak, we'll be there this afternoon and do all of them at one time. Because of the financial constraints that we have, we're not able to do that. Do we have a master list? Yes, we do. That is our work order when people call it in. So we know what the leaks are. As she said, we have to prioritize them by when the inspector goes out and takes a look at it.
But let me interrupt you. It sounds like you haven't even inspected these 3 areas, even though we've reported them, specifically the Norman C. Francis Parkway one, which we've reported time and time again. So has that been inspected or not?
We would have to see. I don't know. She doesn't have the information in front of her at this time. Does not mean it has not been worked on by our group. We'd have to go back and check.
Well, I would like an answer via email on all of these areas of whether or not they've even been in the queue to be inspected. I will say that the water main breaks that have happened in District A and District B are older pipes, right? We can all agree to that fact. Are you prioritizing the inspections or the repairs based on the age of the pipes?
I think it's based on the severity at the time.
But not the age of the pipes?
Stephen, are you able to speak to that?
I want to make correction on the inspections. So if it's in the work order dashboard, that means it has been inspected.
Can you just identify yourself for the record?
Yes, my name is Stephen Yang, Deputy General Superintendent of Sewage and Water Board. So I'm sorry, what was the question?
You were interrupting me to tell me some information about inspections.
No, in terms of the inspection, I wanted to make sure that it's clear. When we go out, when it's basically reported by any resident, it starts off as a service request through customer service. An inspector goes out, inspects it, and prioritizes as A, B, C, D, or E. So your question originally was, are these water mains inspected beforehand? They are. They're done by the inspector at the time the service request is put in, and they create a work order based on that.
So you're telling me that because your dashboard says that the Norman C. Francis is a water main, that it has been inspected?
That is correct.
Do you know if there is a plan to address that significantly?
I do not know this at this time, but I will find out.
All right, I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to move to just communications. I know when the first water main leak happened, Caitlin, I spoke to you about communication and making sure that we are all looped in whenever an incident happens. I know that we're all on a text thread now. I just want to make sure that that communication is kept up because it's important for us to let our constituents know what's happening because, when that first one happened, nobody knew what was happening on Claiborne. Turning quickly to Magnolia and Jackson, it sounds like you haven't repaired that yet.
No, that required additional equipment in order to fully isolate that break. We were not able to do that with the existing valves in our system. That equipment is available to us now, but we are having to pause on that for the moment because of the other issue.
Do you have a timeline on repair? Because the street is, I believe, still closed off.
That's correct. So when we are able to put the 48-inch on Panola back into service, we will continue that. It could be as soon as Friday to complete that work as soon as possible.
I think that the overarching theme here is we have to keep up the communication. We need to know when we report a leak that it's actually being addressed. And so I think that that's an area that you could definitely work on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Harris. Before we move to fire hydrants, and we'll give you some closing remarks, just for the record, is anybody furloughed currently at Sewage and Water Board?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
No, is anyone furloughed currently at Sewage and Water Board?
No, sir.
Okay, yeah. Just for the record, everybody on this dais is furloughed. All of our staffs are furloughed, and we work with a great sense of urgency. So, just wanted to know. Why don't you touch on fire hydrants, and then we'll give you the opportunity to close out your presentation, and we'll take some public comment.
Sure. So, I think maybe if we could go to the well, no, that one's fine. Well, we'll stop there. We don't actually have a slide on fire hydrants, I'm sorry, but we do have some information I'm happy to share. Okay, sure. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, sure. It's not in this version, but we'll get that out. So we have nearly 16,000 fire hydrants in the city. About just under 3% of those have leaks or need repair. This is, while I would not say satisfied, this can be considered within industry standard. I'm not suggesting that this is acceptable, but this is a large number of fire hydrants for a large city, and we do have a number in our inventory now, and our intent is to repair and replace several every week. So 454 that we need to address, and are addressing multiple each week with our individual zone crews.
Thank you. I'll give you all the opportunity for any closing comments that you'd like to make.
Okay, I'll say quickly, at SWIBNO we work very hard to assist our customers and provide excellent customer service. But I agree, there are areas where we can improve, and we want to improve. And we'll dedicate ourselves to doing that. And so when it comes to the phone in, the payments, we'll go back and double check the system and have people call in and see if there's anything else we can do to make sure that it operates at its best, at its peak. As far as the urgency and the emergencies that we're seeing now with the flooding and the breakage of the water mains, understand that a lot is happening behind the scene, that we are aggressively, with a sense of urgency, trying to analyze it, what engineers do, analyze the problem, analyze how we can do an audit, analyze what technologies we can use, and also put a cost to it. And then either we're going to have to do some type of emergency acquisition to get it done quickly, or we'll have to do an RFI or RFP to get it done. But we're working through those hurdles, but we have to do it faster, and even doing it tomorrow isn't fast enough. So I understand you, I hear you, and we're pushing to try to do it as quickly as we can.
Councilmember Green is recognized.
Before we go to public comments, and I could have waited until afterwards, but Governor Landry set up a task force not too long ago, and it came up with a report, and there was talk about potentially funding some of the needs of the Sewage and Water Board. As the Sewage and Water Board is technically a state agency, I'm going to ask you during this session to be clear with us and ask us to come and help you in terms of the monies that are needed to take care of some of these issues, but also to put a little bit of concern in relative to the governor's office, since I'm sure that since Governor Landry set up the task force and it came up with a report that he wants to see the recommendations implemented. Well, one of the recommendations had to do with infrastructure, investment in infrastructure and the like. I just want to say that I would like to see the governor provide you with the support that is necessary to get some of these things done. Let me and other council members know how we can help make the Sewage and Water Board a state agency, a stronger agency relative to its infrastructure repairs and addressing those needs.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. We're going to take public comment. Renata Collins, followed by Sage Michael Pillay.
Good morning. Thank you for this time right now. One of my biggest things is I did hear you guys say about 450 to fire hydrants, and I know we have over 700 of them that are either broken or some of them are even missing. I've been doing my research. The quality of life is definitely important. So the fire hydrants we definitely need to make sure we have in order. We also need to make sure that we have clean drinking water, and I'm not sure how we're reacting with the industrial companies, because when they put the issues into the water, it's impacting us. It's impacting our health. It's impacting our ability to effectively have a way of living. And then also now we have the water mains that are continuing to break. I don't even know if we are even working on how we're going to lay the pipes, because I know that if we put the clay down first and then put the pipes down, we could also help with the flooding. So I would like to understand the plan that we have, because the quality of life that we do need here is important for us. District 2, New Orleans, we are the richest district in Louisiana, but yet we're living the poorest, and that's unacceptable. And our quality of life does impact our water. Having to have a water ball is we shouldn't be at that level. I think that we should be at a greater level of being able to live and to rely upon, because this is not a system that's new. We can only have 100-year-old pipes if we had a 100-year-old system. So where did we drop the ball? How can we get it done? And how can we work together with the community? It's my biggest question. Thank y'all for all that you have done, but these are legitimate concerns, because the quality of life should be yesterday, not tomorrow in the future, but it should be from yesterday and moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sage Michael Pillay, followed by Dreamer Goldsmith. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name.
Don't worry about that. I gave up on that a long time ago.
I wasn't talking about you. Sorry about Mr. Goldsmith.
Just point of order right quick on the agenda. I see here Sewage and Water Board is set to present a sewer discharge presentation, and is also in the packet, and I did not hear that announced to present today. Prepared to make comments on that. So my minute has started, but this is a point of clarification for the order of the committee. With the sewage discharge being on the agenda, and there's a package publicly submitted, I'm confused why they're not allowed to present that presentation publicly. And I use up our minutes to that, but that's what we are here for as well, and it's public information. I will say this, with my minute left, since that point of clarity, it was skipped on the agenda. We talk about fire hydrants. I will say that Councilman Hughes, you requested water quality testing when you were state rep. And I visited a website, a site visit with Caitlin recently, and she said she would provide water quality testing results. That was 5 days ago. Those water quality test results are not here. It's not there. And I believe that she's being untruthful with being transparent, releasing those water quality testing results. If you give your word, you got to pass on your word. And I request that, since she stated on the word on the site visit that she had those water quality testing results, I have an email right now that I sent out requesting those results. I need those water quality tests done like right now before we leave. I would lose full integrity with this person. Also, the dashboard is not accurate. The dashboard does not reflect all water leaks. Outside my house right now, Susan Wardboard stood on a water leak on St. Charles Canal, like pouring right now. Right now, they stood on it, and that leak is not on the dashboard. That been reported thousands of times, many times. It's not on that dashboard right now. So the dashboard is inaccurate. To answer your question, on that dashboard, there's 1,740 water leaks, 250 total sewage work orders, 1,030 total repairs. I don't work for Sewage and Water Board, but they should just provide the information, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, we got 22 infrastructure failures along the Dwight Canal, and we need that done.
Thank you, Sage. Dreamer Goldsmith.
I'll start by saying I wish we had more than 1 minute for this. I feel like this issue is I'll start by saying I wish we had more than 1 minute for this, and I knew that, I feel like this issue is Anyway, I'm solution-oriented, so I think that one of the faster ways we can identify where these leaks are about to happen is to start monitoring where we're seeing spikes in utilization. If your bill is going from $60 to $900, that's something that Sewage and Water Board can see in advance and start tracking, and those, in my opinion, would be hot spots that they can start working on first. In the meantime, we still have these bills we have to pay, so allowing us to, pay a minimum payment of $50 a month until we all figure it out or fix whatever the issue is on our street would be very helpful. I've lived in the same house since 1995, and we've had the same issue 3 times. This is the 3rd water break on Panola Street. The first one, I had addressed far in advance and let them know that there was a lead pipe in front of my house that had a baseball-sized hole in it, and they might want to get on it, and that was 10 years ago. We need a quality assurance, better alert system to let people know that this kind of thing is happening. If a flood is happening, a text message isn't going to wake me up. I had to knock on all our neighbors' doors for a 5-block radius to wake folks up. So if there's a way we can implement some kind of better emergency alert system for flooding, since we are hurricane prone, flooding prone, that would be great. This is an LDH issue, health issue. So for folks who have compromised immune systems, I work in healthcare. I know how scary this can be. Not everybody can afford water. What are we doing to supply water to folks in the community who have this boil water advisory? Is there a distribution site? Can you point us in the direction of that? Can we treat this like it's a catastrophe, because it is? That's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I inadvertently skipped over Dwyer Canal, so why don't you give us that update as well as the update on the testing?
Sure. So let me just address, I believe I may have missed an email request, and I do apologize to the community for that, and we will remedy that situation. So I just want to address that regarding the request for that information. So we have been working to assess the conditions of the sewer system along this section of Dwyer Canal. One of the biggest improvements we've been able to make is returning the Cerise pump station back into service. This was an issue where we were not able to pump sewer out of the actual station. We had to put a temporary pump in a park nearby and what we call bypass, and so pump from one manhole to another instead of out of the sewer pump station itself. That was likely contributing to higher than usual sewer levels within that area. That has since been addressed, and we've been able to get the sewer down in that area. So that pump that was in the middle of the park there has been removed. We have made a point repair on Bonita Street where we're aware of a sewer discharge. We have fixed several water leaks along Chef Highway that we think were also contributing to discharges through the storm drain. And is shown in yellow, we have a number of streets that we are have been and will continue to be doing additional investigation to identify areas of subsurface defects in the sewer drain or in the sewer lines. One of the other things, based on the concerns we've heard from the community, are regarding odor complaints, and we are going to be putting in a pilot test for a manhole monitoring system that's able to monitor hydrogen sulfide levels within the manhole, so in the sewer system. So that's one of the the concerns that we hear and are very mindful of, and want to be addressing that to collect data on gases in the sewer system and potentially expand that from there.
Okay. Have we tested the water, and do we have test results?
We do, yes.
When can I get those results?
We will send them later today.
Today?
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, in closing, thank you all for being here. We'll see you next month, same time, same place, but I just want to say, I can't stress this enough, I think all of us on this council go to bed on edge, looking at our phones at 2 and 3 in the morning, wondering when is the next water main break. Mr. Director, we've got to act with a greater sense of urgency, and we need a comprehensive plan. Thank you for being here.
Mr. Chair, as we close out, may I say one thing?
I thought I was going to get the last word, Councilmember, but go ahead.
You can, well.
Go ahead, Councilmember.
You can finish after I say it. I just wanted to give on the record recognition of Sergeant Marilu Augustin, who at 3 o'clock a.m., she is a quality of life officer for the 3rd District, at 3 o'clock a.m. on Monday, she was calling around to everyone to let them know of the water break and that it was having an impact on their residences. I think that sometimes we don't recognize what the members of the New Orleans Police Department do who are committed to their jobs and committed to their community. I want to mention her name on the record because that was an important thing. She reached our office and we were able to reach out to the Sewage and Water Board to make sure that you knew of something that you didn't know about, but to make sure that somebody got out there right away and understood the impact. I appreciate her doing that.
Thank you very much. I move adjournment, second by Councilmember McCarron. We stand adjourned. Thank you all.
Give me 1 second, Paul, and we're gonna walk.